Now, as you begin to be able to observe, I shared before one kind of example that helps many people, that if you can imagine that on the edge of a cliff by the sea, there's a tree. Many of you may have heard this example, but it's worth sharing again. In this tree, on a branch, there is a bird building a nest. You've heard it, no? The bird is building a nest in the tree, feeding its young ones, flying off, bringing worms, whatever, building nests, feeding babies. This bird is going to represent, in this metaphor, represent our life in the world of having a job, raising a family, doing all these things that most human beings right across the planet aspire for or feel that this is what we're meant to do. That's the active one, the dynamic bird, the dynamic life, like that. In the same tree, on a branch just above, sits another bird that looks identical. But this bird is not building anything at all. It quietly looks. And in its view, it can see the first bird activity going on, doing this. But it is not building, it's not flying away, it is very still. It's very still. This bird represents the ability to observe with detachment all the activities, all the dance of the elements, everything which is on this side of the eyes, the world of names and form, of movement, of time, change, like that. It can see all that. It is even aware of the world behind the eyes of feelings and thoughts and everything. I'm going to put it that this second bird is inside the first bird. It's the heart of the first bird. And so within our active life, having job, doing things, sending your emails, making your phone calls, doing all these things, there is an ability within you, in your conscious self, whereby you can also simultaneously observe all that is happening, and yet in this place of witnessing, it is not so dynamic. There's just a kind of silence. There's a seeing, a noticing, an experiencing, but it is not a sweaty experience. You see? Can you detect these two positions in your dynamic life?
Yes.
No? Okay. This second bird position, no? If we have moved and can somehow recognize the place within ourselves where we have the capacity to observe the active dynamic life outwardly and inwardly going on, but from a place of stillness, that place of stillness is relatively very still, but observing of the dynamic world is occurring to it. Okay? That is called the shift from person, from the dynamic self-doing, active, from person to presence. When we become aware of the capacity to simply observe, not necessarily like this, but in the stillness, there is a perceiving, which is not really a doing, it is just a perceiving is taking place. When we become aware of that dimension of perceiving, you will notice also that your beingness feels very happy and silent and joyful also, because you are not immediately arrested or pulled into the traffic of the things you observe in life. That is second bird position, let's say now, no? Most beings, when they've come to practice this or to become more aware and they are enjoying it, and they want to be more in the state of observing than doing, they are already feeling blessed, grateful for this change in the way of experiencing their existence. No? And it is a taste of what you may call Satchidananda, meaning that you intuitively know that you exist beyond merely the body. Sat, Chid, that you are conscious also of your existence, you are conscious. And the Anand meaning you are joyful, happy, blissful. So all the beings, they love this nectar of Satchidananda feeling. No?